spooks, and demons.
What's up, y'all? How are you tonight?
Lovely.
Hi,
How are
Stella.
you? Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
I'm sicker. I am.
Boy, it's been a day.
Hasn't it, though? It's just one of
How's-
those Saturdays. It's a
Yeah.
sleepy Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but the weather's been crazy here.
It was warm and then cold.
Yeah.
Now
It
it's
was
really
like
windy.
it was like 70 one day, and then the next day it snowed.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be warm here next week. I think.
And then today it was like, I don't know, 50-ish.
Yeah, same. Same. And it was really incredibly windy today. It's very annoying.
Anyway, welcome to another episode of Thriving in Chaos. I am your host, Rebel Phoenix, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Stella Brune.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. We have an awesome show today because we have really cool guests planned.
Yeah. Very excited about it.
Oh, yes. I'm sure actually most of our viewers may know who these guys are without realizing it. They are actually the driving force behind titles such as Demon Fighter, The Crumbs, and The Evil Down the Street, which you can watch on Prime and Tubi. But without further ado, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Craig Ahrens and his business partner, David Espinosa.
Hi,
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey, me.
Hello. How are you, ladies?
Good.
Pretty good. I love
Thanks
David.
for-
He's got like a whole Danny DeVito vibe going on over here.
Wait a minute. You can't say that to me. Danny DeVito, I need some neck. Let me get some neck.
Yeah.
There.
You'd
I
be
mean,
very
if it
on the
makes-
spot.
I'll sit up here. Is that a little,
If it makes you feel any better, I told Craig he should have been Irish.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been a compliment given his situation. So I don't know. I think it is. Yeah.
I mean, hold up. Is there something wrong with
just
being
has a
Irish?
great
Because I
Irish
feel like
Kidding?
What's
I
my
love Irish people.
situation?
My uncle is Irish, smoked Irish. Absolutely.
Smoked Irish.
You saw my uncle, you'd understand.
I mean, look at me. I'm obviously Irish.
Oh, you are?
You are.
I don't know, but you can
I'm
tell by
part
my
Irish.
very dark complexion.
I don't know.
Uh-oh, I froze it.
Irish. In this country, who knows what the hell you are?
Everybody just mix everything.
I think I have about 4, maybe 5 different ethnic groups in my bloodline. French and Spanish, indigenous peoples going on. Who knows?
I am a mutt too.
Yeah, I am too.
People be jumping those fences.
Yeah, look, if it's in the UK, I've got it. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Same.
But,
Same.
We're Americans. That's
Exactly.
the way I see it. As a matter of fact, that's interesting you bring that up because I used to always think that one of our problems as people in this country is that we focus too much on ethnic differences.
Yes.
And we always call that I'm Irish American, I'm Italian American, I'm Mexican American,
You're American.
I'm African American. Why don't we just
I'm
all call
American
ourselves
American.
Americans? So
Yeah.
that's what I actually say, American American.
Yeah.
I was teaching a class and that was what I told people. And I said, I am an American American. They all looked at me like, all right, he's been drinking. Something's going on. Look at this guy. It was early, Saturday morning contracts class, 8 o'clock. So they were looking at me cross-eyed, right? But that's exactly the point. So
Yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up.
Yeah. It's actually funny because it's like it doesn't matter. Like we're all just Americans, and it doesn't matter if you just came here or if your family's been here for generations or
Yeah.
what. Like if you're American, you're American.
Yeah.
I don't
Amen.
see why we care so much.
Amen. Yeah.
Like
I
we
agree.
live here, we're each other's neighbors. Like just respect each other. It's not that
Yeah.
hard.
Also,
It's
Yeah.
really not that
Although,
hard.
fun fact. Here's a little history lesson for y'all, though, which I don't know if anybody else knew this, but, I always growing up, the negative people in the country that disagree with other ethnicities used to say, you know, back when the Spanish language was becoming more prominent in America, and everybody was like, "Go away! You're an American. Speak American." How funny is it that English only became America's language by one vote? Otherwise, we would be a German-speaking country. So, how funny would it be to say to somebody, "You're an American. Speak German"?
Well, the Spanish language has been spoken in this country for like 500 years,
Yeah.
600 years.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. And prior to that, the indigenous languages, which were, hundreds
Yeah.
of them in different dialects across the
Mhm.
United States into the Southern Americas as well. You
Yeah.
know, that was all one big area. You know, there was the Mexica Empire. People moving around all over from, you know, Atzland is what they called it, right? And, migrating southward actually across the border. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The language, the only reason I think there should be a common language is so that we can all communicate
I agree.
with each other. The worst thing for me is to go someplace into a community and all the signs are in a different language.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
are they trying to tell me they don't want me in there because I don't know what the hell that says?
But you know, like, so here, like most of the time, like everything is in English, and it always surprises me because I'm like, imagine being that person who is from another country and you don't speak English that well to not have that availability. Like you can't read a sign because it's not in your language.
But here's the
So,
problem with that.
s-
The language, the sign didn't go to them; they came to it.
well, yeah, there is that
You
too.
migrate to
There's that
Italy,
too.
you better learn Italian.
Well, that's
You
true
move to
I
too.
agree.
Yeah.
Mexico, you're going to learn
Yeah.
Spanish. Go ahead, any country, China, Russia, I don't care
Yeah.
where you go, you will be involved in that language, and you will start
Yeah.
to learn. I'll tell you what, hell, just go to Hawaii. You're going to learn Pidgin.
Samoan.
Hey, bro, you have to get the kind, eh? But you see, my point
Yeah,
is,
that's a good point though. That's a
yeah,
good point.
and so
But I
when
just
people
it's
come here, if they want to be an American, learn to speak the language.
yeah.
Learn to
And
speak with the people. That's called assimilation.
yeah, and most people do. It's just I mean,
Yeah,
imagine
most
first
people
coming
do.
here and trying to learn the language,
But
like
I'll tell you
not
what,
having that availability.
I've known Mexican people, families that have lived in the same neighborhoods for 3, 4, 5 generations, and some of them never learned English.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's got to be
they
really
didn't have to.
yeah.
But you see those cloistered communities, little Mexico, little Saigon, you know, little Italy, you know, little whatever. You know, they do that for a reason. I get it. You know, cultural
Yeah.
necessity.
Yeah.
However, remember where you're at.
Yeah.
You're
If
in
you
a country, and I want to be able to go in there and say, "Hey, how you doing? What's on the menu?" And
yeah,
everybody understand me.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
But no, I definitely agree. Like
yeah.
it's like it's just easier if we can all at least have one common language so we all know what we're saying. We can all communicate well enough.
Yeah, I totally
Ironically, I hear English is the hardest language to learn
It is.
makes no sense.
because of all the contradictions we have.
Well, there's so
Yeah.
many different languages influencing it at this point, I think.
Yeah. Well, there, and where, and where. I mean, that'll mess you all up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Your
Did
and
anybody
your.
else? Did anybody else have to learn how to diagram fucking sentences in school? Like it matters,
Dangling participles.
right? Who the hell needs to know that?
A dangling participle.
To this day, I couldn't tell you what it was.
Does anybody literally write a book dissecting sentences and words like that? Oh, I'm going to put my subject over here, but the prepositional verb got to go all the way over there, though. It's like algebra. Who the hell uses that?
Well, but
And,
also,
and not to mention,
I feel like we use math
not to
every day.
mention, you know, okay, some math, addition, subtraction, multiplication. But if you're like me, I'm highly skilled in other areas, but numbers are not my thing when it comes to like algebra, geometry, calculus, all that good fun shit. No.
Yeah.
When Are you ever using it in real life?
I'll tell you a quick story that brings up the irony of that. Exactly.
And
I
how
went
the
to
hell do you
7
know if you have the right answer? Like, I never got the right answer.
well,
I
the
came up with
formula
an
of the
answer,
method,
but it
right?
wasn't the right answer.
I went through 7 years of college, 3 degrees, and not one math class, not one. Okay. And then I decided I was going to go live in Hawaii, and I was going to get a real estate license and sell real estate. So I go there and I apply, and they give you a sample booklet of what the exam's going to be and whatnot. I found my way down to the local library, checking out 8th grade, 9th grade math books. And I had to memorize all these formulas so I could pass this test. And the lady, when I was checking them out, she goes, "Oh, you're checking these out for who? Somebody you know?" And I said, "No, they're for me.
They're for me.
Oh, for you? Why? You trying to get your GED?" I don't know. I'm going to be a realtor, I think.
Trying. So I actually I still hold a real estate license in Maryland. So
Oh, dude, nice.
yeah, that's funny.
Nice.
Cool.
So I when I did mine for my full-time job, I do payroll for a living.
Ah,
So all of those calculations you have to do, I was just whizzing through that part because I'm like, I do this all day, every day. This is fine.
yeah.
And then like, yeah, it was like the specifics of like law that I'm like, I understand this, but I don't I don't like this. Like it's just like, why are we doing it this way?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, so
I
it was
had
like
a
a
reason
totally
to learn
different.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
there's
pretty
no
funny.
reason, no purpose, not going to learn it.
And everybody in my class, I was like, why can't you get this? It's so easy. It's just math.
And I'm
Rebel
like,
is good with words, not numbers.
that's good.
I'm good with the logic of numbers, not necessarily the formulas of how it's supposed to work.
So I have to say,
I can remember the formulas, but not what to do with them.
yeah, I haven't seen Craig without glasses in quite a while, and I have to say this: you look.
No, you don't. No, you don't have to say anything.
No, I do.
No,
I
say
do.
it. Now he has to say it. He has to say it.
No,
Oh
See?
yeah, that's a
You know,
rule of
you're
the
on
show.
a chaos is part of the name of this show.
See, bring it.
And we are thriving in it. We are
Right,
thriving
okay.
in chaos. So come on,
Thrive-
David, spill it.
Thrive
Spill it.
away.
Spill it
Thrive
all.
Here's the irony. Here's the irony. You're gonna love this. He looks stoned, but I am. I mean, I love how life works.
Yeah, funny how that is.
But yeah, that's why we're partners. We take each other's burdens.
You dispose them
guys
to
are great.
others, and you want to share them with others.
That's right. So they'll look at us, the two of us, and they'll take his breathalyzer, right? They'll take his. It's just him. I go, see, I told you.
Yeah,
See, we're fine. He's fine.
yeah. He's fine. He must be fine. No, not
He's the
necessarily.
designated stoner.
True that. I mean, I smoked my way through 3 degrees. One of them's a doctorate degree, and I'm like, people used to say, "Well, why do you smoke pot?" And I go, "Well, you probably wouldn't like me if I didn't. Not that you like me now, however,
I mean,
for sure you wouldn't."
Solid. That would be a solid no.
if we're being honest, I smoked my way
here
through
you go.
2 of my degrees. I smoked my way through both of my degrees, and if we're being honest, I got better grades going to the class stoned than I did when I went sober.
You paid attention.
If
Yeah,
I
so I'm
smoked, I
afraid
could
they
probably have
realized I
finished
was
my
high.
degree.
And you actually enjoyed it. You're like, wow, I never knew that.
Well,
Fascinating.
science is so fascinating. Drool. I'm like glued to the textbook.
Yeah. Professors looking
I
at
remember-
you going,
Yes. Close it.
I remember my science partner being like, you gonna flip the page anytime soon? You've been staring at that same word for like 20 minutes.
But what does it mean?
What
He's
is his
like,
name?
I'm about 10 pages ahead of you, buddy. You gonna catch up, maybe?
So I'll get there. I'll get there.
I'm processing it. Leave me alone. Mind your business. I got this.
I have a question for
E
you,
equals
lady.
MC squared.
Tell us about your audience. Who's your viewing audience? Who's listening to this?
Rebel knows
Who's
the
watching
specifics
this?
on that.
Besides your mothers.
My mom's dead, so she's
actually-
not watching
Well,
it.
then okay. Then besides your fathers or your brothers or your
Rebel's mom's also dead, so she's also not watching it.
yeah, my parents are both
I've
dead.
been on my own. I've been without parents since I was like 16.
You sound like me.
My dad also doesn't watch
So-
the show, rudely enough. Watch him watch
I
this
don't
one and be
know
like,
that-
what the hell, man?
I think maybe my one aunt watches our show, but that's about it. I don't think I'm even popular with my own family. But we are very, very popular overseas with everyone who doesn't know us.
I prefer it that way.
My audience on my Facebook is about 56% men ages 35 to 60 and 46% women, same age range, 35 to 60, and our YouTube audience is pretty much 100% men in other countries. So yeah, there's that. I feel like a mail order bride every week.
I feel like I'm being set up. I hope.
Well,
hey,
you know, you
should
might
have
fetch a
someone.
pretty good price on the internet.
Hey, take the white boy. Take the white boy. He's worth more. You'll get more for him.
Yeah, there you are.
Forget the Irish one that looks stoned in the corner.
Oh, he'll do anything. He's loaded. You don't know. Just give him some food. Yeah, it's about right.
I mean, let's face it.
Oh my
The only thing you're
gosh.
really, that's the thing. I've always been one that thought pot should be legalized and alcohol should be illegal, or
I agree. I
more
had the
treated
conversation
like
today.
pot.
I had the conversation today.
I
about
mean,
alcohol's
how
way worse.
often? I mean, think of it. How often do you hear people getting hit by drunk drivers or killed in car accidents by drunk drivers versus
Right.
how many people were driving around high on pot and had accidents and killed people? Like, I'm sure
Right.
it's happened, but not that much.
It's not
The
nearly
only
as-
thing I'm a danger to when I'm
Yeah.
high is cake.
actually, the
I've got the
statistics
figure
are
to
in
show it.
favor. Yeah, actual stats are in favor. Yeah, seldom has any recorded accidents been relative to smoking pot.
Because ain't nobody getting out of bed.
Nobody leaving.
Exactly.
Why would you leave?
Yeah, the refrigerator's right here. Where
My
the heck
bed's
am I
here,
going?
my
And you
food's
can
here.
Where are we
You can
going?
DoorDash if you don't have it. If you need food, you can DoorDash food.
What a time to be alive.
You know, stoners are the backbone of our economy because we're the only ones going to work.
We have to.
We have a habit
Yeah.
to support, so we're the ones that show up and stay late and come in early and work our days off because we like that money.
Do you
I'm
really
gonna
come
be-
in early though?
I
I'm
used
gonna be
to.
72. Okay, 72 years old here in April. And
Happy
first
early
time I
birthday.
smoked pot, I was 14. So you do the math.
Oh, thank
And,
you.
I've been since then, off and on, more on than off. The only time off is when I financially was, challenged. But other than that, and I usually wasn't challenged that hard. So, yeah,
He got that Cheech and Chong resume.
hey, it's only make me calmer, more creative in a lot of ways, less impatient. In other words, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I quit caring.
That's literally what I've been trying to tell my doctors. Like, I have half my doctors are like, yeah, smoke all the weed you want. It's not going to hurt you. Hell, it'll help half your problems. And then the other ones are like, no, we don't want to condone that because of this. It's just a temporary fix like alcohol. No, they are not the same. Stop right there.
Does not equate.
You're not getting a hangover. You're not puking your guts out.
Yeah.
You're
It's
not trying
not
to kill your
addicting, really.
roommate.
Like if I had to quit smoking pot tomorrow, I'm not going to have withdrawal symptoms that I can't get out of bed or I can't function in normal life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where opioids are going to knock you down. Heroin, the more you do, the more you got to do.
Right. Because you don't get the
Meth,
same high
same
every
thing.
time. Yeah.
The more you do, the more you got to do. Weed, you can literally take 3 puffs all the time and get the same high.
Yeah. It's consistent.
It's not addicting. You can't
Well,
really
up
OD
to about,
on it.
up
I
to
mean,
about 20 years. Up to about 20 years. Okay, it starts to change after that, you know.
Noted. If I start it now, by the time I'm 60, I'll need to change it.
You're in business. See, you're in business.
well, I
Maybe
mean,
then I
I'm
can
already
afford
way
to have
past
it.
my prime because I just turned 37, so I hit year 21. Ah,
There
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh.
Right.
That's crazy.
this is the joy of being thriving in chaos. Like, we're here talking to filmmakers about pot.
Hey, who cares?
Well, we could talk about films, but you know, you probably heard everybody you know already. Actors coming in talking about how good they are and how they're successful, and they've got this new project and that new project, and they just had an audition, and you know things are really looking good for them, and they're bright. And have you seen my new clip? And blah blah blah. I
That's
would,
shockingly accurate, actually.
yeah, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So it's actually funny. Like these are the shows that I think we tend to like really gravitate towards because we don't always just stick to the subject. It's more just like we're just having a conversation. Like so I really like doing this because it humanizes people like in the film world, I think. Like you can like people don't understand that people in the film world are just regular people.
Yeah.
This is your job. This is what you're doing. It just happens to be films.
Speak for yourself, okay?
Well,
Being normal is
I know
vastly
some of the
overrated.
weird- Yeah, absolutely, and you know, in the professional world, in a variety of ways, and you can ask Craig; he can chime in. We both have backgrounds in professions other than film, and other people are just as weird and crazy in those professions as they are in film, only a different caliber of crazy.
Yeah.
That's it. I think the difference with the people involved in this industry that we do is there's a frustration in the industry and the artist and the art. You can never get enough. Here's what a director told me. Okay, this guy named Michael Gordon. He was a very famous director in the 60s, 70s, 50s. But anyway, here's what he told me. He says, Dave, it's like being married to a woman you can't stand, but you can't get enough of. And every time you have sex with her, she kicks you out of bed and you can't wait to get back in. That's how he put it. And I said, God, you're right. He goes, no matter how much you try to love her, it ain't ever going to happen, brother. He goes, but you keep on plugging, you keep on trying. He goes, so it's just
Is that where
kind
the
of
inspiration for the crumbs came from? The crumbs in the bed?
Yeah, that was a twisted film. We were thinking about other things, actually, the sick family that we knew of historically. And one day I sat down and I don't know why, but the name Crumbs, Professor Crumb, came into my head. And I just started writing it. And so I called Craig and I said, hey, I got this idea. What do you think of this? And he starts laughing. He goes, yeah, okay. But he's like that. He supports me to the edge. And then he says, well, just a little bit further, Dave. A little bit further. But that's what makes us work together so well. We work off each other that way. But yeah, the Crumbs is a sick family. But hey,
Yeah.
really, are they?
Yeah.
Are they really sick? What do they really want? They want life. That's what we want. They want love. That's what we want. They want survival and they want legacy. That's what we want. And they want to take care of each other. And that's what we want.
Right.
So are they so sick? And
It
they're willing
is-
to do anything they can to protect each other. And that's what we do with our families.
Right.
We just don't do all those other things in between.
Yeah.
So we need a crossover between the crumbs and the Firefly family. Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But speaking of you, Craig, I did happen to catch your
Speaking of
cameo
me.
appearance in
Say that again.
the Evil Down. I saw the role that you played in the Evil Down the Street.
Oh, did you?
I did. I caught that. I don't remember if you were in any of the other ones, but I definitely remember seeing you in that one.
He's in the crumbs.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm not going to let him
I-
escape that. He's in the crowd. You'll see him. He makes a couple of appearances, but you got to look.
Yeah.
One of them, he's a bit laid back.
I play the homeless guy.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The guy who peeps in the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're actually credited as the homeless man in that movie.
Yeah.
Like in IMDb, I think you're listed as homeless man.
Homeless or something close to that still. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen the Crumbs. The two I most recently watched were The Evil Down the Street and Demon Fighter was the last one I watched. So that was the one I watched most recently.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. But David and I both had roles in Evil Down the Street. David did a great job in Evil Down the Street. That was
being nice.
What's that?
I said he's being nice. We're partners.
No, I'm not. No, that's bullshit. That Evil Down the Street. I had originally. That's how David and I first met. I had originally written that screenplay, and that's how we first got to know each other. And make a long story short, that David was instrumental with that film in numerous ways. I was originally going to direct it, which I didn't really want to. I don't particularly enjoy working with actors much at all, and I'll leave it at that. David does well. His background, he's an acting coach. He has a degree in drama from UCLA. He has written plays. I mean, he had just a great depth of knowledge in that area. And we were introduced by a mutual friend of ours. And so once that David and I met, there was a role, Father Bob. And I said, would you be interested in playing that? He goes, oh, absolutely, which worked out great. And then when I sent him the script, he made a few suggestions. And you can only say thank you so many times, right? I said, and after a while, I tried to, he had to be a co-writer on the script. I mean, it was more than obvious. And then the role of Father Bob was just perfect for him. And what is interesting, you were talking earlier about people have no problem as far as criticizing things. I've yet to see David played Father Bob in that film and had a prominent role in The Crumbs. I have yet to see any criticism on David's acting. And since David's hearing isn't particularly good, most of what I'm saying right now, he's not able to hear or does hear only parts of what I'm saying, which is beneficial. But in all seriousness, he did a really solid job in Evil Down the Street. And that's why I think why that film has performed historically so well for us. And that was a film that really got our little CRA on the map, if you will. So that film has always, I think it's got a special, really, for both of us, a lot of real fond memories. So yes, you're right, Rebel, that I played a couple of cameo appearances, the neighbor across the street in that film. What was it?
Yep.
What was the character's name? Was it Bill, Bob, something like that? David Bill, I think. Neighbor Bill on that film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Billy Bob.
Billy Bob. Maybe that was what it was.
I just remember my husband and I were flipping through the streaming services one night and we came across that one on, I think it was Prime. And I was like, where do I know that movie from? And then I was like, I don't know why, but we should watch this one. And I'm like, there's a reason I want to watch this one, but for life of me, I couldn't remember why. And then it came on and I saw your name in the credits and I was like, I know him. That's why I wanted to watch this.
Something interesting Craig said about how we met, and I just want to comment on that for a moment. We didn't just meet like it was a meet. We were brought together. I actually resisted meeting him for over a year.
He was hard to get.
I'm serious. I was working on a film on another set, and I was the director on this, and I had a part in it as well, this other film. And this guy named Todd kept telling me about Craig and said, I want you to meet this guy, Craig. I want you to meet him. I go, yeah, okay, man, I'm busy. Leave me alone. And this went on for like a year. Yeah. Finally, one day on set, he's doing it to me again. I said, you know what, Todd? Shit, call him. Call him right now. I'll talk to him right now. And it was the best thing that happened to me in my life. He is such a good person. I'm not saying this because of his compliments to me, but he is my best friend. And I've had a lot of friends. My oldest friend I've known for over almost 60 years. He was on our podcast just the other day, Marvin Arell. But this is my best friend. I don't know why God brought us together. I'm a very faithful man, as is Craig. That doesn't mean that we're not sinners. That's why we're faithful. We are sinners. We know we need salvation. Okay. So having met this man changed my life. I would not have done these films had that not happened. I'm a very neurotic guy when it comes to art and working. I don't like foolishness, and I don't want to be around people who are not prepared. It drives me nuts.
We are the same. You and I are the same, sir.
I am always.
And I feel the same way about Stella.
Yeah, you got to be. If you want to get stuff done, you got to be. Every film we've done, we spent about a year in preparation to shoot within 16 days. Every film was shot under 16 days.
That's amazing.
On budget. Yeah. All on time. And that's because his background is being organized, as is my background, being organized. I come from the theater. You have to really be organized to bring up a production that at 8 o'clock on the 23rd of this month, the curtain's coming up and shit's happening. You got to have that organized, and that's my background. So, we really worked well together. It was strange. It was really strange. My brother from another mother, straight up. And I feel blessed to have been associated with him. We'll continue doing it. And we were just going to shoot a film this past September. We spent a year organizing it. We got the rug pulled out underneath us, unfortunately. Long story. I won't bore you with it, but we couldn't do it. So we got scripts. We have other scripts. We've been taking a hiatus for a minute, and I'll tell you something personal. Unfortunately, I developed Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was in my liver. I thought I was going to die. It took a couple of years out of my time, which is why we couldn't do anything. But even during that time, we organized that film to shoot that film. I was going through chemotherapy for 10, 11 months. And,
oh, my gosh.
We still put that together. Oh,
that's
I looked really cool. I had no facial hair, no hair on my head. And you know what's cool? I used to have this bald spot back here that was getting bald. Hair grew in there when it came back.
I heard that happens sometimes.
That totally blew me away.
Yeah.
I said, that's the secret. You get cancer, you get your hair back.
Silver lining. Silver lining.
There's always something good in everything.
I definitely agree with that 1,000%.
But I'm not making light of what happened, but at the same time, life is like that.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to go. He's
going to be his own Rogaine commercial.
Hey, you got to go through changes. You know what I'm saying?
Ebbs and flows. It's just life.
Yeah. I'm healthy. I feel good. I'm still doing it. And by the way, we're both active again as actors. Craig, as a matter of fact, got an active audition. I'm pretty certain he's going to get the part, but you never know. He's still in the running. It's for a feature film. Mr. Dale will be playing this.
Is that the character?
Craig, he's our man. If he can't get it, no one can. Rah,
Yeah.
rah, sis boom ba.
Hey, you know, there's a lot of parts for old ass people. You know why?
Yeah.
Because the majority are a bunch of old ass people now. Our generation, the baby boomers.
That's
I,
true
I was
though. Like,
literally
Yeah.
about to say because nobody else want to show up to work.
Yeah.
whippersnappers.
Well,
My
and,
generation's
well,
lazy as fuck.
well,
Like,
and with that, I have to give credit where credit is due. When this audition came in, was on Super Bowl Sunday. Now, for the last audition I had was 8 years ago. In the meantime, we've been making films. Okay, so the only thing, I'm a single guy. Okay, so the only thing I have been memorizing in 8 years, what do I need to buy at the supermarket? If it's 4 things, I'll remember 3 of them and I'll forget the 4th item. And it's a thing I really needed. So that's been my life. So I'm watching the Super Bowl. This audition comes in. I'm going through this. I'm thinking, mother effer. There were a ton of lines. And I'm thinking, how in the F am I going to memorize all of this? So I just took a deep breath and I enjoyed the rest of the game. So I talked to David the next day. A little bit on the panic side. Anyhow, long story short, Mr. Espinosa has been an acting coach for years. And I said, I need you as my acting coach. And I knew it was not going to be really necessarily easy because she was not going to be easy on me. So he had to walk me through how to memorize these lines. Because if you don't have your lines memorized, and it was over 10 minutes of, as it turned out, over 10 minutes of memorized dialogue. So any of your audience who, yeah, it was an agonizing 10 minutes. I mean, these were over 3 scenes. And so any of your audience that might happen to be an actor who has concerns about memorizing, or anybody out there who has concerns about memorizing things, Mr. David J. Espinosa is the guy you want to go to. And, you know, David's attitude, and I agree with, before you do anything in acting, you have to have your lines memorized. So he gave me some techniques like back in the day that I had never done before. Because back in the day when I was an actor, and if you go to my IMDb, I was very blessed. I had booked a good battery of films and also Criminal Minds on CBS. So I had done a good amount of work. So I felt very blessed. And I agree with David. David is I know a lot of people. David is, whatever David said about me is right back at him. I feel very blessed to have him as my best friend. So I played my best friend card. So I went to David and he gave me some techniques to have my lines memorized. And so, yeah, now it's a waiting game. I've heard from the people, so I know I'm in the running, and we'll see if it works out that I get it. But it was thanks to David's coaching that I had all this dialogue memorized. And when I taped it and got it off to him, I called him. I said, "You're not going to believe how long this audition was, and it was over 10 minutes of memorized dialogue." And back in the day, when I was auditioning, they used to say, "Do you have a monologue? Could you send us your monologue?" I have no mother effing monologue. I'm not a. Do I look like a Shakespeare actor? Now I know Ribble is saying, like, "Are you Irish?" I'm not. Maybe I am somewhere, but I don't do monologues. I feel pretty good now. I can do a monologue. I did a monologue. So yeah, but if I get this, like I told David, I'll be doing something nice. So yeah, you have any actors out there, go to David Espinosa.
But I got to tell you, and I appreciate that, Craig, but the kudos should go to somebody who taught me this. He's passed away already. His name is Jerry Gardino, Jerome Gardino. This was a very, very well-known actor in Hollywood during the day in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. He was John Voight's acting coach, very, very astute acting teacher. I had auditioned for a master's class, an acting class. He was accepting 10 students and I got in. Oh. So I'm like, I'm feeling really good about this, right? And first day of class, he gets me up there and I have this scene prepared with this other actor. I just start. He shuts me down within about 5 seconds. What the hell is that? What are you doing? He says, what are you doing? So I started explaining what I'm doing to him. Well, and his mother, and he didn't like him, and he had needed hugs. And he showed me something really simple. And I was blown away because I was trained in Stanislavski and method acting, and so was Jerry. But he broke it down a little further. And what people don't understand is that Stanislavski was working with the best actors in Moscow at the time, at the Moscow Art Theater. And that group of actors was so well trained that they understood already how to act. And what Stanislavski did was bring them to a reality with it through their own self-emotion, their own ability to emote, their sense memory, emotional recall, all those types of things. And so that's what I learned with this Jerry Gardino. And he taught me how to cry on cue, which I can do. And anybody could. The simplest, best thing he taught me was one thing: quit giving a shit what people think about you.
Yeah.
And he says, you're not ready to be on camera till you can stick your finger up your nose, pull out a big juicy one, and fling that puppy across the room. And his point being that if you're worried about what people think about you, how are you going to be able to be in the moment to emote, to actually feel what's going on?
Right.
And I owe it to Jerry Gardino, his abilities, his training, and I try to pass it on to other actors, what that is. But what Craig's talking about is a memorization technique, which is grueling. It's grueling. It's you take the first line, you say it out loud 5 times. Then you take the second line, you say it out loud 5 times. Then you say both lines together out loud 5 times. Then you take the third line, you say it 5 times out loud. Then you add the first and the second line with the third line, and you say all 3 lines now 5 times out loud. You do that, you will memorize this crap. But
It'd be hard not to at that point.
But it works.
Yeah.
It works, and that's what Craig's talking about. So, but I love acting. It's what I was trained to do. But I love directing. I was a stage director. It's different, but not so. Directing's directing. The only difference is who's looking at you. Is it a bunch of people in a seat looking from various angles up at the stage, or from down up here down, or is it a camera that's moving around with those same perspectives, the same ones exactly? So there's not much difference if you can just grasp that concept, and think about it. Ironically, Craig and I really taught ourselves how to organize a film. It was kind of weird. One day I was looking at a jacket with a DVD, pardon me, and it had every scene. This was a few years back. It had every scene listed in a number with a title on the scene. Johnny gets the car. Johnny escapes with the car. Each scene is labeled. And I thought about it and I said, oh, boom, it hit me. So if you did that and you did a spreadsheet, categories, interior, exterior, day, night, auto, FX involved, costumes, makeup, set, props, you could list each scene what's necessary.
That makes so much sense, actually, when you break it down and just put it
that's
into like
the way we did it.
a very laid out format.
Yep,
I love
my
that.
son created that for us, and we've used it ever since. It works really well. It's a simple process to do. Making films is about being organized. Everything else, let's hope you have some storytelling ability. You know, we're not great filmmakers. We're hard workers. We're organized. That's we don't sit up here and say, "Oh man, you seen my film? Shit, man, they're really good. You got to see my film, dude."
Like
We
you
tell
let it
people,
speak for itself.
yeah, straight up,
Exactly,
straight
Stella.
up. And if you like it, tell people. And if you don't even say you saw it.
Right. Don't talk about it. Just pretend it
That's
didn't happen. It's like that's not. I never saw that.
By the
No,
way,
but like
where can we see these films we're talking about, Craig? Might as well get a pitch out there, right?
absolutely.
Well, Rebel mentioned a couple. I mean, certainly Tubi's a very good friend for us. Prime/Freevee. YouTube is terrific as far as international play. Fossum is a good platform, and Plex. Those would be the main platforms to watch our films on a free basis, and those are the major platforms.
I just want to plug a little bit. Like if you're gonna watch it on those platforms, watch it till the end so that everybody who worked so hard can
Thank
get
you,
paid.
Stella. That's right.
Just saying, just watch the whole
Yes.
thing. If you don't like it, just let it play and don't watch it.
That's right. Just minimize it. Go on,
Just let it go.
go on to Netflix
go.
or
We
something
want
else. Just
everybody getting
minimize
paid
it.
on this show.
That's
Right.
right.
Do the ADHD thing. Put that thing in another tab. Let it go.
That's
Hey,
exactly
you want
right.
to know what filmmakers make on these things? I'll tell you. 8 cents an hour
Phew.
if they're lucky. 8
Phew.
cents a viewing hour. That's
Yeah,
what we
see?
make.
And that's why
So
you gotta
what
let
you're
it play.
saying is
go.
I need to play your shit on loop 24/7 for you.
YouTube's gonna be like, Rebel, are you okay?
Exactly.
I mean, if we're being honest, if you really want to be honest, like I'm a social influencer on Facebook. I get paid for being on Facebook.
Right.
I make 2 cents per 1,000 views.
Whoa.
Like I made a whole
She's killing it.
$13. I made a whole $13.66 last month, and I had like 35,000 views to do it.
That is a Five Guys
Wow.
cheeseburger, okay?
So the trick then is to go there, click like, come back, click like, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
that
exactly.
is that it? Or do they check, does the algorithm check the same person?
Like, subscribe, comment, share.
If I like something, I
We're
always
on,
share it.
we're on
Yeah,
like
I usually
5
do.
different platforms, I think. We're on
Yeah.
Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on
Yep.
TikTok.
Yep.
What's
Um,
your general format? I mean,
YouTube.
what are you about, really? Tell
YouTube.
us.
Oh, format. Rebel,
yeah.
you take that.
I mean, we do exactly what we're doing. We just chill with different guests each week, and we try to interview people from all walks of the entertainment industry,
That's
right?
cool.
Because that's what our followers are into, and we are primarily horror, paranormal, true crime, but we've also we were originally going to be paranormal country, but then I was like, well, I have a lot more connections on my Facebook besides the horror community and the paranormal community. So I opened it up to everybody. So now we have actors, we have filmmakers, we have directors, authors, comedians, we
Yeah.
have
Cool.
ghost hunters.
Yeah.
So we're all about kind of giving back to our communities too. Like we interview big name celebrities like you guys, Jeremy London, we've had Bob Myers. And then we also interview up and coming actors like Josh Hancock, who is he's been in about 11 different movies, but only 2 of them are released now, so nobody really knows who he is yet.
Right.
So we kind of give back to our communities. You know, we interview everybody, so
Trying
we're
to put
fair
people on
game.
platforms so that
Anybody
they
who
can
wants to
also
be on the
get out there.
show.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
to
it's
ask you
all
a
about
question.
networking.
You mentioned horror country, and you brought to mind westerns, and I started thinking about Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
What did you think
I've
about
seen
that
it.
film?
I did not realize it was categorized as a horror movie until I got to the end of it. And I was not expecting what I got. Let me just say it's not for the weak of heart.
No.
I mean, it's one of those, it's a grueling Western. I mean, there it's not really horror to me per se, more so than more like a historical kind of movie between like cowboys and Indians, I'd say. But the ending is what made it the horrific horror that it has now become. I don't know if I want to
I have
spoil it
not
for
seen this,
anybody
but
who
I
hasn't
feel
seen
like I
it.
need to see this.
You
What'd
need
you
to
say,
see
Stella?
it,
I said I haven't
not when
seen
the
this,
kiddos
but I
are
feel like
there.
I need to see it.
It surprised me that Kurt Russell was in it.
Yeah.
It really
But see,
did.
I don't know. He's becoming more of a horror actor too. I mean,
He's done
did
the
Death Proof
Thing.
too.
Oh yeah,
The
Carpenter's The
Thing.
Thing. I loved
He
him
was
in
in
that.
Death
I thought that
Proof.
was a great movie. Yep. But Bone Tomahawk was definitely out of the unusual. I thought the makeup and their FX was just incredible.
It's a
I asked
phenomenal
myself,
movie.
I backed up a couple of times and went back to see and asked myself, how did they do that? That's what I always do. I study movies and I always ask, how did they do that? Most of the time, I'm pretty good at figuring it out. But wow, when they split that guy, I was totally blown away with that. I was like, whoa, did you see that?
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's what happens.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's been an
prepared.
old movie. It's an
Be
older movie. This
prepared.
is not a new movie.
It is.
It's been around for quite a
It's
while.
not new.
It's
But
I was
like
going
be
to say,
prepared
if we're going to see
because-
it, we're going to see it regardless if you spoil it or not. So,
Well,
oh
yeah.
I'll tell you what our
Be
movie's about.
prepared. Be prepared. It's a phenomenal movie. It's a great movie, but it's also very, very realistic and gruelingly realistic. Like they don't spare the imagination for anything. Like you get it all.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
kind of like that though.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. I'll definitely have to check
Okay,
that one out because I don't watch anything.
Have you seen the original Terrifier? The
No.
first
Yes.
Terrifier movie.
I did.
You
did.
saw the girl in that movie that got split in half by the saw towards
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept, just a lot more grueling.
Mm.
Terrifier
Yeah,
Terrifier was tame compared to Bone Tomahawk when it with the same kind of scene.
Yeah, I really need to see that. I love gory stuff.
She's like,
Like,
let me ask you,
wait.
why do people like gore? Because we're not so much into gore. The difference
I don't
between
know.
horror and terror. Gore is terror. Horror is more metaphysical, more
like both.
spiritual. It has a different element to it.
Well, so like I like both. Like there's a thing about being scared about something that you can't see, and in that horror like realm, like the psychological, like the, you know, paranormal world. But I think when you're like looking at something that can actually happen, like physically to you, not to say paranormal stuff can't happen to you, but like
Right.
when you're
Okay, no,
seeing
that's-
something that's gory, like I feel like I'm more likely to get stabbed by somebody than I am to like be haunted. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a different scary. It's a different kind of scary. It's more realistic scary.
Mhm.
Even if it's like being split in half by like an axe or something, like you can
Well, I'll
picture
tell you.
it more so.
I think it more so has to do with people's beliefs too, because in the when it comes to like the more supernatural, less gory horror, you get the skeptics that are like, oh, that could never happen in the real world. So it doesn't scare them as much as something that, like Saw that could happen in the real world. There's always those deranged people in real life that you can walk past all the time and you don't even know who they are until you're in the middle of it, like Dr. Gordon and Adam in the basement with Jigsaw.
So I do have to say that Saw was scary because we worked at a movie theater together back in the day, and that's when I saw for the first time. And there's nothing like getting in your car at 2 a.m. thinking, oh my God, there's somebody in a pig mask in the back seat. I still to this day check my back seat, and if I get in the car by myself in a parking lot by myself.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, girl,
all the
Urban
Oh.
Legends beat you to that for me.
Oh,
Like that opening scene in Urban Legend where she stops at the gas station with Brad Dourif and he comes out and he's stuttering, trying to tell her there's somebody in the back seat. Yeah, that was the. I'm checking the back seat after that.
Literally, I get in the car and I immediately, all right, we're good.
I used to keep
Every
my
time.
back seat. I literally used to keep like so much shit in my back seat.
Same.
Nobody could get into it.
Same. My first
And
car was
nobody-
one of those 2-door cars, and I was just very pleased because it was very difficult to get in the back seat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually my very first car was a pickup truck, so I didn't have a back seat.
And if anybody's in the bed, you can always just hit a bump real hard.
Right?
Fly
Yeah.
right out.
Well,
He'll be gone.
well, that's open. You can see that before you get in the car.
If you're
Once you
looking.
get in the car, that whatever's in that back seat is coming. Oh, I made it a habit to look. Trust me. I was
Scary. But that's,
What
I
do
think
you
that's
think
why
of-
people like gore.
What do you think of horror films with comedy?
I love them.
It depends. It depends on the movie, I think. Like, I think there's a place and time for comedy and horror movies, and I think like in the right film, it's fine. But when you're like making light of a situation or it's too much and it's supposed to be a serious film, like that's I think you kind of lose the audience there a little bit.
In other words,
However,
Abbott
if
and
it's like-
Costello meets
Yeah.
Frankenstein wasn't your favorite movie.
I actually didn't. Is that a real? I didn't see that. Is that a real movie? Like
It's a
Young
real
Frankenstein
movie.
is one of my favorites.
Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is a real movie.
I'm gonna check
It's
that out because I
done
feel like that
with-
is meant to be funny.
Oh yeah, Lon Chaney's in it. He plays
Yeah.
the Wolfman. Matter of fact, Bela Lugosi plays Dracula in it.
I am very surprised my dad hasn't made me watch that.
Yeah,
My dad makes me watch all that stuff.
yeah.
Makes me, as in I voluntarily watch stuff with him.
Because that's what kind of ruined horror films for a period of time. Between the 60s, it took all the classic monsters and turned them into comedy acts, sideshows and whatnot.
But I think that
People
can
you
be
want to
done
be
really
best
well.
friends with.
But you know what I don't like? I don't like the movies like the Scary Movie, like the spoof of Scream. I don't like stuff like that. I don't think they're very funny.
Oh, you bite your tongue, Stella.
I
You
don't
bite
think
your
they're
tongue.
funny.
Don't you come for my movies.
Oh, I'm coming. You can't stop this train.
Don't you
I just don't
dare
think they're that funny. Like sometimes,
scary movie.
yeah.
There's
For
a
the longest time, I
movie-
couldn't stand Anna Faris because of those movies. I was like, this is I can't.
Ah,
Yeah, I think
There's-
she's amazing now, but at the time, I couldn't stand her.
And this was Stella's last day on the show.
Just thank you so much for your time.
Dun, dun.
Everyone
Yeah.
but you is allowed to have an opinion, okay? Unless you agree with me. No, I'm just kidding. No, okay. I like the scary movies. I like the spoof movies, but I like them because they don't take themselves seriously and they make it known that they're not taking themselves seriously. However, something like
I can appreciate that
I
now.
don't-
I can say that, but I still don't like them.
Let me ask you a question.
not everybody has good taste. It's okay.
Well, we know that. You got us here. Come on.
You guys are amazing. I love talking to you.
That goes
know.
without saying.
This
Here's a
hour
question
went
for you.
quick.
To horror and terror, since we know there's a little bit of difference between the two, and terror could be looked at as something that causes you, as you said, an immediate feeling of potential fear and danger, imminent danger coming upon you. What about disaster films? Like that movie like Earthquake, or some of these films where you're getting ready to get swallowed up by all kinds of stuff, and waves are coming in, everything's getting torn apart, and you're following one. That type of terror, is that fear? Does that do the same thing?
I think
Um,
so. I think it falls
Those are
within,
the
like,
movies that
paranormal.
terrify me. Like those are
Yeah.
the movies that
Mhm.
actually scare me.
That's like
like
a fear
the-
of the unknown because you don't know what's coming.
Like what was it? Dante's Peak, Volcano, The Day After Tomorrow,
2010. That one time it was 2010.
2012.
Oh, 2012. That was it. Yeah,
I didn't see that one, but
that was good. John Cusack, I believe,
Yeah,
was
those
in
are
there.
good.
I
All
believe.
good.
Yeah, that was good.
I
Yeah, I like
actually
those movies.
I actually thought one of them was kind of a play on actually the Bible. I think it was 2012.
Yes,
That
it was absolutely right. Absolutely
because
right.
they ended up having to build Noah's Ark in order to survive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly right. And only one of them got through. They had 3 of them. 2 of them got whatever sabotage or it couldn't work, and only one of them went. You're absolutely right. A lot of people don't thematically, I don't think, appreciate films on that level. I'm impressed that you do. Most people don't. They don't see it thematically. I Part of what we do, what we try to do with our films, is operate on 3 levels. First, to entertain. That's the most important thing, entertain.
Mhm.
And the second thing, hopefully to inform. It maybe, bring some issue or something to light that you didn't have. And hopefully through that, maybe some enlightenment. So
Mhm.
entertain, inform, and enlighten. And if we don't get the last 2, that's okay. If we at least just entertain somebody, that's the whole
Yeah.
point. But for me, art has such a deeper understanding and meaning other than just the colors that are on the surface, the figures that move, or the
It is a
music.
multifaceted art form.
Oh,
Right.
all
Yeah.
art is.
Yes. Yeah.
I think all art, whether it's painting
Mhm.
or dancing or music or whatever, I think it's all inclusive, a humanistic form of communication on a different level. It encompasses not just the visual, the physical, but the intellectual, the spiritual, the emotional. Have you ever looked at a piece of art and go, wow?
Yep. I've been so moved. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, incredible stuff. Or hear a piece of music
Mhm.
that literally just brings you to tears or makes you
Mhm.
smile. It's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I think that's why we watch movies, to vicariously appreciate, experience, different emotions, different people, or similar ones, and say, hey, I'm okay, I'm not so screwed up, look, that guy's just like that. Yeah, I know that's why Craig and I like it so much. Uh, Art is art. I don't care what it is, and I think it's in everybody.
Well, film has like so many different things. Like there's like the writing aspect of it, and then like the ability to actually tell the story through film, but then like the
Right.
imagery and just and like, even with music and sounds and things like that. There's so many different pieces to it that I think people
Mhm.
take it for granted because movies are so available, entertainment is so
Mhm.
available to us, but there's so much that goes into it to get to the end result. So you have all of these different pieces coming together for
Mhm.
2 hours of this amazing entertainment and this complete project that, you guys have every right to be so proud of because you've put so much into it, so much thought and so much like, I don't know, love, energy, light, whatever you want to say.
Mhm.
Um, that I think people just we don't really understand it when we're not thinking about it. That's kind of when you were asking about like why we're doing the podcast, like what we're doing with it. That's kind of my whole point is like humanizing not only the entertainment business, but also bringing to light like the amount of love that really goes into the art form,
Oh.
no matter which kind of art form it is.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's cooking.
Me too. I
I
love
make
cooking.
some.
She's
I
a
make
writer
some pretty
too.
looking foods. I did.
Yeah.
I wrote a book that
She
nobody
wrote a book.
read, but I'm trying to turn it into a
Is it?
movie.
Is it?
If you
Oh, is
guys
it
are
a story?
interested,
You got to write a script.
it's already written like a script. It's just in book form.
Then it's not a script. You got to write a script.
Oh. Redo it.
Well, I know. I'm
Start
just saying,
over.
like when I wrote it in the first place, it's written like you're watching a movie to
I
begin
hear
with.
you.
So
I know what you're
it's
saying.
not going to be.
You write in images. I got you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Love
not
that.
going to be. It's not going to be hard to turn it into a script. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, trust me. It is.
You
I've
would
done
think.
all what you're saying, from storybook to that, from short story, the novel, whatever, and it is totally, absolutely unlike any other art form. Writing scripts is not like writing of a novel or a story. Totally different. Totally
Hmm.
different. But you have the essence of it already in your story, and now it'd just be taking it out. The easiest way to learn to do it is pick up some scripts and start reading them.
I was
Okay,
going to
just
say,
start
pay
reading
someone
them.
else to do it for me.
Well, what you could do, Rebel, what
That's
you
the
could
other way.
do, You could download Writer Duet and start playing around with that. And you would want to convert your book into Writer Duet. So it'd be, but yeah, also read scripts like what David suggested. But eventually you want to convert that into a script. And Writer Duet is a very user-friendly format program to use.
Yeah, because
That's what we
scripts are
use.
a very specific format. Very specific format. I mean, spacing with everything from it's very tedious. I write generally in the format, and then Craig takes it, puts it into a writer's duet format, and corrects it and makes it correct. But it is something else, and I write that way, but I write also in the other ways and cheesy poetry and all kinds of other crap, right? So
That's what I do.
yeah, hey,
Cheesy poetry.
oh, I love cheesy poetry.
I'm actually an award-winning poet. Just to
Awesome.
toot my own horn there.
No, why not? Why not? See, you would be able to write a script easy. If you're a writer, you're a writer. So it would just be a matter of doing it. And if you think it's going to make a good movie, do it. Just force yourself to do it.
It would be along the same lines as like Twilight and Harry Potter, but like a more adult version.
Oh, that's where Stella comes in. I got
There
you.
you go. You know, I got you covered. You got questions, I got answers.
Samples. We want samples.
But I'm not so sure.
You got answers to questions I don't even think I have yet.
I don't know if I want to eat the food, Rebel, but I want to see the movie.
That's bad. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, I don't know how much more you want us to torture you.
This has been so enjoyable.
We could
like,
actually, yeah, right. You guys are like some of our favorite guests up to date, actually, and I'm so sad that our time has ended. Actually, we're past time. I just didn't want to cut us off.
if we're going, we'll just go a little bit extra. It's cool.
Well, you see, the thing about people our age, we keep time by our bladder. Most of the time, our bladder.
So what you're
tells
saying
us
is just you got to
exactly
pee.
what time it is. Okay.
I
Well,
mean, in all fairness,
actually-
I'm with him.
Actually, David, I
Yeah.
just peed about 7 minutes ago.
I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that.
I'm good to go.
I told you
Oh my
stop
God.
doing that.
Craig's
did
got
you
his
know the
Craig's got
parents-
his bottle under the desk. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yes.
I knew he got that look on his face, that look
That
of
look-
relief he just
that-
flushed
that
over
look-
him.
That look of contentment. It's
warm,
important, David.
flush look.
I would show you the pee bottle, but I don't know if that's appropriate. Yeah, right. But I'll tell you,
let me
never do a podcast or travel on the freeway system without it.
Let me just real quick. My uncle, Rebel, you know his son, my oldest, brother. Like this, it's confusing. Anyways, my uncle was a trucker, and he would go to like 7-Eleven and get a big gulp cup, and on long stretches he would use the cup when he couldn't get to a restroom, didn't want to pull over, didn't want to take that time. He would use the cup, and after he passed away, my dad made a joke about finding cups in his truck and called them road sodas. And that is all I can think about. I have another friend who'll use the term road sodas and something completely different. And I was
That
like, you
is
have got to
great.
stop saying that, because every
That's
time you
great.
do, I just think you're peeing in a cup. So yeah,
I love that term, roads. I'm gonna have
road
to
sodas.
down road sodas.
I
It
mean,
reminds
I've
me of
done that
something.
to a cousin of mine. So like my grandma used to be a tractor trailer driver over the road, and when she did like local states like the Carolinas or Pennsylvania, something close to Maryland, I would ride with her, and it was her and my cousin Michael and me, and I was like 2 or 3 years old, and we pulled into this warehouse because she had a bunch of I don't know if she was getting loaded or unloaded, but there was forklifts going around, and so she told me, do not get out of the vehicle, like do not get out of the truck, or she was going to beat my ass. So of course I stayed in the damn truck, but about 5 minutes after she left me, I had to pee really bad, and I couldn't get out the truck. And I opened the door and I stuck my head out and I was looking and I couldn't find her. And we didn't have cell phones back then. So, or if we did, they weren't very prominent. I mean, this was, God, probably 92. So I stuck my head out and I couldn't find her. I couldn't find my cousin. I couldn't hold it. So I peed in the damn cooler. And as soon as I got done, here comes my cousin. He's all sweaty, dying of thirst. He jumps up he grabs a Solo cup and grabs the ice water out the cooler and downs it. And then he's like,
Oh my God. That's so
he said,
that lemonade.
he called my grandmother because he didn't even realize that he was drinking yellow water. He called my he said, Aunt Gail, I think the water in this cooler went bad. And she said, what do you mean? She said, how the hell did the water in the cooler go bad? It just melted ice. And he's like, I don't know, but I just drank it and it didn't taste very good. So then, of course, she opens the cooler and she notices right away. She's like, what the hell happened in here? Why is it yellow? And about that time, I had come out from the back and was like, I had to pee and I didn't have anywhere else to go. Ooh. He was like, you little son of a bitch, why didn't you tell me that before I drank it? Well,
Wow.
I mean, you really, I'm like, well, first off, you didn't ask. You didn't ask. Second off, you drank it before I could even realize what you were doing. Like, I thought you grabbed the soda. I didn't know you grabbed the water. Like,
I got a lovely little story for you, and then we'll let you go. My brother just retired, 45 years driving for transit.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, 45 years on the job.
That's amazing.
that's
I don't know how he did it. And when somebody gets sick on the bus, they call it in as they have a hot plate.
Oh. Hot plate and a road soda.
Isn't it 24? We got a hot plate. I'm coming in.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, hot lunch coming up.
Oh, God.
okay, so
Literally.
We'll take his hot plate and I'll keep your road soda cold with my ice pit.
Rough day.
Oh my God. This has been the best episode ever.
Thank you
I know.
for inviting me.
We're gonna have so many
ladies.
views.
Thank you guys
for
so much for
being
taking
here.
time to come talk to us.
Our pleasure.
Yes, we definitely need to have you guys back on for sure.
That'd be
Like,
great.
you guys have been
Great.
some of my favorite guests so far.
I'll tell you what.
And
Watch the rest of our movies, and then after you see those, if you still want us, we'll come back.
I have seen them. I have
them?
seen them. Just
All
about
right.
all of them, I think. I
there's
watched
more.
Demon Fighter. I watched. Which one am I missing? I've seen the Evil
Love and
Down the
There's
Street.
Love and Quarantine.
Love and Quarantine. That's the only one I
Okay.
haven't seen. Other than that,
Oh,
I
okay.
still want you on my show.
We'll still
Right on.
be here.
Right on.
In all
Absolutely.
fairness, I watched all those before I even asked your asses to come on here.
Thank you so
So
much. Thank you, Rebel. I appreciate that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
I stand corrected and humbled.
I know it has been your privilege
She's good at
to
that.
be in my presence.
Thank
It's
you.
always my privilege.
No,
I
it's
know
so
it is.
good to meet you. So
Guys,
good.
fun.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
All right,
so
Thank
much.
you.
Take care.
And on that
Thanks,
note,
ladies.
we are
Peace.